you've already watched the introduction to slurring video and have good goals in mind as we do these exercises. As a quick reminder, we're going to try to keep the sound very smooth. We're going to try to limit the amount of movement in the face, and we're going to try to keep the air very smooth and connected too. If you need to go back and review any of those videos, please take time to do that. But now we're going to play some together. I'll play and then you play just like we always do, and I'll make sure we have the music displayed on the screen as well. Okay, here we go. Very good. Okay, I'll play, you play. Very good. Okay, here we go. Use your ear to control these. And if you have any trouble slurring back up when you're doing those exercises, in other words, if you could hit the first note pretty easily, but when it's time to slur back up, if you feel like you're working hard to do that, I would go back and repeat these, and this time, see if you can limit how much you're letting the lips change as you slur down. So as you're slurring down, if you'll keep the lips really set, you might feel like you're pushing a spring down. And then when it's time to come back up and slur back up to the original high pitch, the spring pushes you back up. Instead of letting the lips over collapse. A lot of times when it's hard to slur back up, it's because the lips have collapsed too much. Okay, here we go. Very good. And if you have a hard time with those, just give them another shot, and I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. Okay, I'll play, you play. Very good. And the less your lips are changing and the less your air changes when you slur down, the easier it should be when you slur back up. So if you're having trouble getting out the top notes when you're trying to slur to them, just make sure you're limiting the change when you go downward. I think most trumpet players and audiences will agree that there's hardly anything more exciting than a really great high note on a trumpet. And there's never been a trumpet player who has been able to captivate an audience's attention playing high notes like Maynard Ferguson. Maynard Ferguson was a Canadian trumpet player who led big bands in the 50s and 60s, and then in the 70s and 80s moved to more pop and commercial music. He has over 60 recordings to his credit, and I remember being just about your age, if you're a middle school kid, and getting a Maynard Ferguson recording and just being blown away by what I heard. I couldn't imagine how this person could play so far beyond anything that I ever imagined was even possible. So when you're checking out these recordings, I think you're going to hear some high notes like you've never heard before, but you're also going to hear some really great big band style in some of these too. I hope you'll take just a minute to check out the recordings below and introduce yourself to Mr. Maynard Ferguson, one of the greatest, most exciting jazz big band players ever.